Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a new unit in depth, and now it's time to talk about the Skyweaver, a unit from the Harlequins. So the Skyweaver is costing 100 points, and you have two jet bikes for these points. The jet bike have weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4, strength 3, toughness 4, 2 wounds. This is different from most of the jet bikes, and this is because you have two guys on the jet bike. Initiative 6, so as fast as all the Harlequins. 3 attacks, what is quite important. Leadership 9, and 4 plus save, what is quite low for being a jet bike. To be fair, for being a jet bike, have low toughness and low saves. And it's 100 points for two, so it's 50 points for each. It's not that amazing if we only look the profile. It's equipped with a holo suite, so 5 plus invulnerable save. It has the star bolas. It has the mirage launchers, Skyweaver jet bike rule, fear, furious charge, and hit and run as the special rules. And as options, you can have 4 additional Skyweavers. Any model can replace the star bolas by a Zephyr glaives, and any model might replace the jet bike by a cannon. Sorry, the shurikens cannon by a high wire cannon. So if we make a look to the star bolas, is a weapon, a ranged weapon that have range 12, strength 6, AP 2, assault 1, blast, and only one use. So it's one attack of strength 6 with a small blast. And you can change this by the Sapphire Glaive. So as you can see here in the Sapphire Glaive, the profile is strength plus 1 or user, AP 2 or 3 melee. So it's a power weapon that has plus 1 strength and AP 2 when you assault. This is what is explaining on the asterisk. So if you assault, have the first profile. If you are in the second, if not, you have the second profile. So it's just like a power shot that have some special abilities when you are assaulting. So how I see these guys, I think they make a good role as a support fire. So normally the Harlequins don't have a lot of fire, and I like to use them as a flexible unit support fire. And yeah, and just and then go them in close combat or short range when the enemy unit is quite low, or when the enemy unit is not anymore dangerous in close combat. So just to finish up, if there is some remaining after the shooting, or because you don't want to dedicate one of your tubes, and just with the bikes you can try to deal that. Normally I don't use the Zephyr Glaive, I use the Star Bolas. I prefer to have the shooting, and I really use them as a support fire, try to do damage and then finish the enemy unit with all the troops, or if it's really a small unit, finish them in close combat with the jet bikes. Other option is to keep them with the highwire cannon, and this way you have some anti-vehicle. There is not too much anti-vehicle in the Harlequins, especially I'm thinking because when I play them, I play pure Harlequins without allies. So if you don't have allies, I think the best option is the Void Weaver having high cannons and also on the bikes. In that way, you can deal quite well, or you can at least take some hull points from the enemy, and then you can finish also the work with the Caress, with the Harlequin Caress. So I will say use the mobility, try to keep them out of the shooting, and use them as a support, as a unit, a supporting unit for the troops, where they can use the fire to thin down the enemy, and then the troops can finish up the enemy in close combat. Or if you have an enemy unit that is flanking, you can send the bikes, shoot at the enemy, and then try to immobilize the enemy with your bikes, and win time until the troops can go there. They can be more resistant than the normal troops. You have at the end, if the enemy don't have strong weapons, you have two wounds each at with armor 4, and you have high initiative, so you should be able to do some damage. You should have the Hammer of Wrath. You will have 4 attacks for each bike when you assault, and then you have the hit and run. So in your next turn, you can disengage in combat if you are still alive. If you are so long in combat, normally the Harlequins are not that survivable. So they are the big weakness is they are quite fragile. Although they have the special rule, so they have the Mirage launchers. They give them that give to them 4 plus invulnerable save. This is also playing in favor of the shooting ability. So at least once per turn you can avoid jinking and use the Mirage launchers to keep the shooting. The big issue of the highwire cannon is that if you are um, jinking, then you cannot shoot the highwire cannon because it's a blast weapon. So you have to be careful how you put them. It's better to use cover. It's better to, yeah, instead of using the jink, try to use intervening scenario terrain to have some cover and avoid to jink. If you are forced to jink, always um, take into account that you have the mirage launchers to avoid at least one jinking in the game. And after that, yeah, it's only one use. So if you use haywire grenades, haywire cannons, try to avoid that. If if you're using the shuriken cannon, then it's not that negative, but you will still do snipe shooting, and then they will not be able to give the supporting fire that is needed. The star bolas, I think it's quite strong. It's strength 6, AP2. If you have heavy armored enemies like Terminators or like, yeah, some space marines, you can use the star ballers and you can make some damage and then finish the work. They will not be able, they will not be the unit to finish the work. This should work in combination with the troops, because if you leave the bikes just at 12 inches from the enemy, then they will be assaulted next turn. So the best option here, if you use the star ballers, is then assault, combine this with the troops that have a caress, because most likely if you don't kill all the enemy, it means that you are shooting to something that have a armor 3 or 2 to maximize the damage of the star bolas. And I think that's all. A supporting unit, very fast, good for taking objectives if it's needed, good for protecting the flanks of the troops, use the troops to go and to do to take the main part of the assault, and just the Skyweavers to give some support where it's needed some extra shooting, or if you keep them with a higher cannon to use them to deal with the vehicles. And that's all. So this is all what I want to talk about the the Skyweaver. And yeah, please know, let me know what how do you use Skyweaver, if you like, don't like, what do you think? From my point of view, I think it's one of, I prefer the other jet bikes from the other elder races, but as I want to play pure Harlequins, this is the bikes that you have to use. Please leave your comment below. Let me know what do you think. Share your opinion with me. And yeah, and as usual, share, comment, like, and yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.